Welcome back to the Bonner Center. Zach Browning with you, as well as Andrew Garrison for Game 4 of our Thursday night quadruple header here live from the City League. The nightcap on deck is Elevate Indy and Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. We should be in store for a fascinating contest here as the tip is up. Elevate Indy will have the first possession. That's Ron Patterson stepping into a three and getting the scoring started in a loud manner.
Fast start for Elevate Indy, and I anticipate a quick.
Well, there's the answer. Marquise Teague answers with a right wing three of his own. Will Patterson look to make it two in a row to start the game? Working against Darius Adams, he steps back. It's off the left side of the rim and poked out of bounds. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill will take over possession. Andrew, Elevate Indy 0-2. It's a hard-fought 0-2, though. The record not necessarily indicative of how talented this team is as Marquise Teague steps into another three. He's looking to get it going early. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill 2-0 on the season. There's Handlin. His three is short.
Well, this backcourt for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, Marquise Teague and Darius Adams and John Hart, the best in the league without a doubt.
As there's another three. John Hart right on cue, canning a three from the far side corner. Here's Xavier Turner attacking. He lost it. Good defense there from Hart. Here comes Adams. He was the hero last week for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. He's going to let it fly from three, and that's in and out. Mentioned last week a 4-point win over Press Play Gaming Lounge for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. As Donovan Carlisle has his first bucket of the ball game. Adams was huge in that Elam ending. Scored what felt like the last 10 points for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill in that contest. He ended with 27, and he went unconscious in that Elam ending. I think it was 3 threes he had consecutively to pull out that hard-fought victory. 2 minutes gone, already a 9-5 start here as Adams pulls up from the volleyball line and rattles in a three, and that's a good sign for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill because he was ice cold at the beginning of last week's game before coming on late. Good to see him get it going early as Xavier Turner, the right-handed scoop shot, that falls. Adams, volleyball line again off the right side. Clamoring for a foul over there on the far side is Adams. That pass deflected. Out of bounds, last touched by Mambo's. Elevate Indy will keep possession.
Well, certainly a swift start to the game here. We're just 2.5 minutes into this thing. It's already 12-7. We've seen 4 triples fall for Mambo's. That backcourt's lethal.
Hanlon dumps it off to Carlisle, who goes up on the left side with the left hand and gets it to go off the glass. Here's Hart, one of the top three-point shooters in the City League. Shows why right there. He's got his second long ball already. Shooting 63% coming in. He's now 12 of 18 from three-point range this season as Hanlon answers. This looks like the All-Star game right now. Andrew, we might be on pace for both teams to score 100 as that three was blocked. Turner up to Hanlon. He goes up and throws it down with one hand.
Brief 5-0 solo run for Hanlon, and he says, well, if this is going to be a three-point shootout, might as well take one myself. He scores and then does again in transition.
Darius Adams lost it, picked up by Elevate Indy. Here comes Turner between the legs, dumps it off to Patterson, who barely grazes the backboard. Donovan Carlisle, the rebound fell right into his lap, and he stumbled over the legs of Marquise Teague, and Teague is going to be picked up with a foul, or for a foul.
Well, Teague's upset about it, and I do see why. I don't think he moved a muscle, and just wrong place, wrong time for Teague, and that'll be his first foul and a reset on a side out for Elevate.
Couple of early threes for Marquise Teague. He's really yet to get it going like we know that he's capable of. Of course, one of the most talented players, one of the most highly decorated players, as that is an acrobatic fall to the floor from Darius Adams. Xavier Turner got him up in the air, ducked underneath him. Turner will head to the free throw line after Adams fouled him.
Well, Adams is not somebody you want to see go down like that. 24 points per game, 27 in their last game against Press Play Gaming Lounge. Fortunately, he's A-OK, but Darius Adams, one of the most notoriously strong players in the City League and its history, of course, leading this team to a 2023 championship and an appearance in the 2024 title game.
And Andrew, this guy at the line, Xavier Turner, he's one of the guys that you've got your eye on tonight, isn't he?
Oh, I love Xavier Turner. And in the first game for Elevate Indy, a difficult loss to Big Brothers Big Sisters, he really took over for this team. As Ron Patterson kind of struggled from three in that game, Xavier Turner did everything on all three levels, and I'd love to see him do the same tonight. Donnell
Hinton off the front of the rim. Leak out here for Adams. He goes right hand, left side for the bucket to put Mambo's back in front by one. Hanlon almost had it stolen. He did. Walker came up with it, and it's another run out for Adams. We have a timeout now taken. Elevate Indy going to want to talk things over after a couple of turnovers and a couple of runouts here for Darius Adams and Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. Andrew, we talked about it at the beginning when we came on air. Mambo's 2-0. Are they, in your opinion, the best team that we've seen so far this summer on the men's side? I know we were talking and praising NBA Math Hoops earlier tonight, but is Mambo's for you right now the front runner on the men's side?
Well, I'm going to say something a bit outrageous. Some would call this blasphemous. I think NBA Math Hoops is the best team I've seen so far, and it's because, yes, Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill has an incredible backcourt. They are incredible from the three-point line, as we've seen in this game. I think NBA Math Hoops has a little bit more going for it as a team and on their bench and across the floor on all three levels, especially as you reach the area between the blocks. If Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill has a cold shooting day, they're done. And we saw that in the championship game against Prudential last year, where they had a dominant year and then just kind of fell flat, and next thing you know, Prudential's a champion.
Here comes Evan Loudon careening into the Elevate Indy bench, and we have a whistle out of bounds. Last touched by Loudon. Elevate Indy will take over possession. I guess to counteract your argument and to play devil's advocate, Andrew, I'd say / argue that Mambo's, anytime they step onto the floor, no matter who they're playing against, they probably have the best player on the floor, and it's this man right here, Darius Adams. Going to lay that one in on the right side. Adams, the top scorer in the German Professional League a couple of seasons ago. One of the TCL players that currently plays at the highest level overseas in the German Bundesliga. As Loudon poked that away from Turner, Elevate Indy will retain possession. And the old adage kind of goes, in a playoff-like atmosphere, in a playoff-type setting, the team with the best player typically at least has an upper hand, just because that player can take it to another gear. And if I've got to bet on one singular player to go get his team a win in a playoff setting, I'm probably going to lean towards Darius Adams. Or at the very least, a guy like John Hart, who we've seen score 30 already this summer, or Marquise Teague, who played in the NBA. That was Adams getting all the way to the basket once again. He's shown off his ability to get to the cup tonight. His team is up by 7. About 7.5 minutes gone. Here's Patterson. Had that stripped from behind by John Hart. And we have a whistle and a foul.
Well, good points there about Darius Adams and Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. They, of course, are unbeaten thus far. They play this game, and then they'll play BBM Tax Service, who is 1-2, but similar to Elevate Indianapolis, has really fought hard in their 2 losses.
Xavier Turner from the volleyball line off the right side of the iron. Ron Patterson's putback fell short. Here comes Mambo's. Teague put it on the floor, and he had jumped in the air. He had elevated before he put that ball back on the floor. Interesting that it was the referee on the near side of the floor, not the one over there right in front of the play, that called that infraction. Marquise Teague wasn't happy with it. Here's Carlisle down low, working against the smaller Gibson. The fall-away jumper's off. Rebound ricochets around before falling into the hands of Mambos. Here comes Darius Adams, right side of the lane. So smooth and under control. He lays it in off the glass. Well, Andrew, we've had 2 consecutive nights of the City League, last Thursday and last night, where guys have gone for 40. We haven't had one yet tonight, as that's a deep 3 from Mike Elliott. But we haven't had a 40-point score tonight. So in order to keep the streak alive, somebody in this game has to go for 40. And Darius Adams looks like he might be on his way, as that's a nice pass, a nice cut as well. And a strong finish for Trey Patterson. You think Darius Adams has 40 in him tonight, Andrew?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if multiple players have 40 in them tonight, the way they're chucking up threes. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, such a complete roster. Marquise Teague, another great example. Somebody that absolutely could go for 40. It's any of those 3 in the backcourt, so it makes them so dangerous, and how they have somehow 30 points before we reach 10 minutes.
Averaging 3 points per minute. We're 10 minutes in, and they have 30, does Mambos. They've scored 102 already this season. They are the most electrifying offensive unit we've seen this summer, as that's a layup from Evan Loudon. And it's right there. That's one of the reasons why they're able to get stops and they get out and run with the best of them. They don't really have a true center, a true big man, as they're up by 13. Elevate Indy calls a timeout with 9:57 to play. There's not really a true center, Andrew, on this roster for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. They have 5 guards that can all handle the ball. They can all grab a rebound and go push the ball in transition. And it's pretty much, you get the ball, you go out and run, you find the open man, and the 3-on-2, 4-on-1, whatever it may be, and you go score.
Absolutely, and it's that 5-out scheme that really renders many defenders unplayable. I mean, we see this a lot in the NBA, where sometimes there's one defender or there's one player that just doesn't quite fit the game plan for another team. And when you see somebody like Ron Patterson or Trey Patterson, who seems to be checking into the game now, or even somebody like Donovan Carlisle, the way they play, their play style just doesn't quite fit that scheme of running up and down the floor and defending multiple guards at the same time, trying to prevent them from hitting shots from outside. And so it makes Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill have an advantage in that way time and time again. And usually teams can just say, we'll let you shoot the threes, but you can't really let Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill shoot the threes, as we're seeing here, because they'll hit them time and time again.
Hasn't really been anybody that's been able to slow down the offense of Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill so far this season. Scored 79 last Thursday, 102 in their opening game of the season. Ron Patterson's going to find his way to the free throw line here after he was fouled underneath. Patterson, of course, spent some time at Syracuse. He was with the Orange to begin his collegiate career. And I think I've told you more times than I can count at this point, Andrew, that these uniforms, they look exactly, not exactly like, but very similar to what he would have worn during his time at Syracuse, these Elevate Indy uniforms, as Darius Adams misses from 3. Mike Elliott, pull-up jumper, barely grazes the front of the rim. Here comes Adams, spinning his way through the defense, lobs it up off the glass. Nobody in particular in the area, but it trickles its way back to Adams, and he's got another deuce on the board. Here comes Xavier Turner behind his back. No-look pass into the corner. Mike Elliott has time to think about it before drilling the corner 3.
Love to see shots like that from Mike Elliott and this Elevate Indy team as they try to get their offense back going. They've gone cold for a few moments. Darius Adams has absolutely not.
Darius Adams turning to the crowd after that 3, asking where his applause is, / where the excitement in the gym is. He's got, I don't know officially, but around 15, I would guess, already. And again, we've got a current streak of 2 consecutive nights in and at the City League with a 40-point scorer. Perhaps Darius Adams looking to continue that trend, as that's a nice bucket. I think they gave him 3 there, Ron Patterson in the corner. Didn't have a great angle from my vantage point, as Marquise Teague so smooth, streaking down the lane, finishing with the right hand. Here's Patterson looking to keep it going. off the front of the rim. Teague the rebound, outlet into the forecourt. Darius Adams, don't want to call him a cherry picker, but he has been leaking, let's just say that. He's got a handful of buckets already in this contest, uncontested, just by getting out and running and letting his teammates find him. As Marquise Teague, a step inside the volleyball line. He's fouled and will head to the free throw line for 3 shots.
And 3 free throws is a clear indication of the way this game has gone. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill just chucking up threes, and they are making them, and they will likely continue to make them. And this really goes against my point from earlier where I think NBA Math Hoops is a bit more of a balanced offense and a balanced attack, because honestly there's not much you can do in basketball when somebody's hitting threes at this rate. I'm very much looking forward to seeing these first half stats and the three-point percentage individually and all together for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. Elevate Indianapolis, I also think they haven't really been able to let Xavier Turner cook in the way that they want to. We've seen him be a bit quiet through the first half. He really took over in the second against Prudential, against Big Brothers Big Sisters a couple weeks ago. It'll be interesting to see if he gets himself going, but at this rate, it's not going to matter, as Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill is on pace to be doubling Elevate by halftime.
Xavier Turner, long-range 3 off, long rebound was saved by Trey Patterson. Here's Mike Elliott, 7 on the shot clock, trying to dribble through the entire team. It's taken. Out and running is Adrian Gibson. He goes up with the left hand and he finishes. The lead is 19. Xavier Turner up top, catch and shoot 3 on its way from Elliott. It goes careening off the left side of the iron. Offensive rebound, Patterson. He can't hit. Adams the rebound all the way up to Weston, who was all alone in the forecourt. An easy bucket there, and the lead is above 20. Here's a 3, right side wing. Donovan Scott can't hit. Elliott the rebound, back to Scott. He goes up, loses it, kicks it to Hanlon. His 3 is pure. Here's Weston. 1 on 4 as he awaits for his teammates to join him in the front court. Here's Gibson. Was in double figures off the bench last game. He's got 2 more here. He's up to 4 off the bench here for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. Their lead back to 20. Here goes Xavier Turner attacking and is fouled by Darius Adams, much to the chagrin of Mambo's leading scorer.
Well, it's important to note that Elevate Indy is without Antoine Bo Hearns tonight, a great handler of the basketball, someone very shifty, very elusive, absolutely finds space, great distributor, and great going from top to bottom, the top of the key, straight to the rack. Takes a couple dribbles, spin moves. I mean, this guy absolutely can move with the rock in his hands, and he's not here tonight. So that does have an impact on Elevate Indy being able to sort of keep their offense moving the way they want to. And you talk a lot about, I mean, great example. When Caitlin Clark's been out for the Fever, you definitely have seen that pace of play drop, and you've definitely seen their ability to funnel the basketball to Aaliyah Boston and to other areas on the floor kind of stunt, and that's similar to what we're seeing with Elevate Indy here without Bo Hearns.
Marquise Teague off the front of the rim, rebounded by Hanlon. Here comes Turner. He's a blur when he's pushing the tempo. Patterson can't connect from 3. Loudon the rebound. Here comes Mambo's John Hart. He's never afraid to let it fly from 3. That rolls off the front of the rim. And here comes Elevate Indy. Hesitation. Turner out to Hanlon. He's been hot, but he has that 3 blocked. And we have a whistle and a foul. Tyrone Walker going to pick that one up, fouling Hanlon, the 3-point shooter.
Well, Hanlon wanted the foul, and he got the whistle. Shane Hanlon's a guy that I think is an underrated player in this league, an underrated role player, especially off the bench. 9 points per game, 44% from the field, 40% from 3, 2 for 5 on the year. When you need a big shot, Shane Hanlon sometimes is an underrated option, especially because what we've seen in games past is defenses really tailoring their focus to Xavier Turner or potentially Ron Patterson, who we've seen love to pull up from the volleyball line or somewhere around that range to launch a deep 3. And Shane Hanlon's kind of a sneaky guy that plays hard, possession in and possession out, gets to the free throw line here for 3 shots. Shane Hanlon's a member of this Elevate Indy team that I think puts them in contention down the stretch if they were in a close game.
Hanlon, a native of Southport, or, well, of Indianapolis, went to Southport, I should say. Goes 2 of 3 at the line. Here comes Darius Adams. His floater off the back of the rim, and a late foul call. Xavier Turner going to be called with a push.
And Xavier Turner shouting back and forth with the infamous ref Rob, of course, famous on TikTok and famous on basketball courts throughout the Indianapolis area. And he gently describes his decision-making process in blowing the whistle to Xavier Turner.
Adams goes 2 for 2 at the line. Up to an 18-point lead now for Mambos. Xavier Turner pushing the tempo. Here's Patterson inside the arc. Out to Carlisle. He drives left side, can't finish. Countering is Walker. Corner. John Hart. Pump fake. Sidestep. Triple on its way. Bingo. John Hart for 3. And the lead is back up and over 20 points for Mambos. They're on pace to score around 110 points tonight as Xavier Turner rattles one in and out. Here comes Adams. 3 on 3. He lobs it up in the reverse slam. Adams to Hampton for the highlight reel flush. Patterson can't answer. Hanlon the rebound. He goes up, blocked, can't finish. Put back good by Patterson. How about that play from Darius Adams to Deshaun Hampton? A volleyball line alley-oop from Adams. He's driving to the basket, who is held at the top of the key by Ron Patterson.
Bringing the house down, Deshaun Hampton, and certainly putting an exclamation mark on this first half as this team will lead by 21. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill potentially proving me wrong in my slightly remiss comment earlier.
Darius Adams just put it between the legs of Ron Patterson to get his way to the cup before Donovan Carlisle stepped up and had his teammates back there and sent that one out. 4 seconds to go on the game clock. Going to have to be a catch and shoot here. Loudon, did he get it off in time? It doesn't matter. He missed it off the side of the backboard. And that's how this first half will come to a close. A 21-point lead, Andrew, after one. It's 57-36. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill leading Elevate Indy. The second half of our 4th and final game from this Thursday night quadruple header will come to you live from Bonner Fitness and Learning Center in just a few moments. Back here for the final 20 minutes of action this evening from the City League. The Bonner Fitness and Learning Center is the site for all of the City League action this summer. And we've got a 20-point ball game here at the half between Elevate Indy and Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. Zach Browning with you, Andrew Garrison as well. Andrew, we talked a lot in that first half about Mambo's and where they kind of sit in the hierarchy of the City League. After that first 20 minutes, after a first half where they shot 50% from the field, or 50% from three and 69% from the field, where do you rank them in the hierarchy? Are they the favorite on the men's side right now to you?
Well, at this point, this is more than likely a team that has put together the most impressively dominant performances so far this season, especially considering the strength of opponent and their strength of record as a result. 2-0, on track to be 3-0. Darius Adams is on track for 40. We'll have a third 40-point score for a third night in a row. To me, Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill is going against what I said in the first half. I think they're the best team we've seen so far.
First possession, second half, Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill with the ball. Here's Marquise Teague. Corner, that's Hampton. Step back three on its way off the right side of the rim. It was an impressive shooting display, to say the least, from Mambo's in that first half as Hanlon misses on the three. Offensive rebound, Patterson back to Hanlon. He goes in and he gets fouled. He'll head to the line. He's got two shots upcoming. Nearly 70% from the field, 22 of 32 in that first half for Mambo's. 7 of 14, Andrew, from three-point range. It feels like they hit their first five.
And it's really just been that premier backcourt. Darius Adams, Marquise Teague, John Hart. Hart has been 2 for 3, Marquise Teague 3 for 5, and Adams 2 for 5 from the three-point line. That's a combined 42 points from that backcourt alone. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, they have 8 players here. They have plenty of guys, but it's just those 3 that are really getting after it in the backcourt.
Here's Teague. Lost it momentarily. Falling away, jumper off from Hampton. Rebound, Patterson. Kick out. Xavier Turner all alone from the right side of the wing. He can't hit. Adams the rebound. Into the front court. Here's Walker into the corner. That's Loudon for 3. That's off. Hanlon the rebound. Hinton, left side wing. Step back 3 right in the face of Deshaun Hampton. And Donnell Hinton has his first long ball of the evening. Back to within 15 is Elevate Indy. Here's Adams. Right side of the lane, he lays it up and in. Too easy for Adams when he's able to get that full head of steam downhill. Turner, free throw line jumper, looking to counter. He can't. And here's Teague. Over to Loudon. Nobody in the area code. Loudon can't make him pay. Defensive rebound, Patterson. He dumps it off to Carlisle. He goes up. He's blocked. Loudon clears the rebound. An opportunity here in transition for Mambo's. Loudon fouled as he was pushing the pace down the floor. That was Donnell Hinton that got him. Andrew, just a moment ago, you touched on the backcourt of Mambo's. I would probably rank Marquise Teague as a top 5 player, and that's probably being generous. A borderline top 3, top 4 player that we have at the City League. So when he's your second best player, you're doing something right. You know you're a talented squad when Marquise Teague is your second best player. A couple of turnovers there for either side as Mambo's will take back possession.
And you're exactly right. Of course, Marquise Teague, a guy that played as a freshman under that John Calipari Kentucky team that was so good and appeared in that national title game way back in 2011. And now here at the City League, producing at a high level.
Adams can't connect on his first three-point attempt of the second half. Outlet into the forecourt. Here is Carlisle on the right side. Defensive intensity, not what it was in that first half here from Mambo's. A lot more looks coming easy for Elevate Indy in the second half. Mambo's not so much. We had Darius Adams on 40 ball watch, but he's struggled to really find his way into the offense here early in the second half. That's a great pass from Marquise Teague in a vicious one-handed slam by Hampton. Back to 17 is the lead for Mambos. Here's Turner. Splitting at the top of the key. Kicking, handling, can't hit. Here comes Adams. Behind his back around Turner. Going up, unable to finish. Elevate, they have numbers, looking to attack. Mike Elliott rolls a three in. Timeout taken by Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. And just like that, Andrew, it's back down to 14. We talked about it. This Elevate Indy team, yes, they're 0-2, but that's a tough and hard-fought 0-2. Not necessarily indicative, that record, of how good they actually are. And they're showing it. We'll see if they can put together some kind of second-half run here and get back into this ball game.
Well, hey, we've seen crazier things happen, although as soon as I say that, I realize this might be the craziest thing we'll see at the City League if Elevate Indy would be able to turn this around. They're down just 14 in this moment, 15 and a half minutes left to go, roughly. There'll be 11 and a half minutes until the target score, so plenty of time. And the dangerous thing, I mentioned how Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill really doesn't have those cold stretches shooting from three, but realistically, anybody can have those cold stretches shooting from three. And that's the dangerous part about that being the majority of your production on offense, is that at any point, that valve can kind of be shut off just by a few misfires here and there, and then players sort of losing their touch and losing their groove, falling out of their rhythm. And that's how Elevate Indy can really work back into it if they can execute on their offensive end of their own.
Marquise Teague dumping it down low to Gibson, who forces it up on the left side and somehow manages to get it to fall. Adrian Gibson, if they handed out a Sixth Man of the Year award at the City League, he'd be my clear front runner right now. Off the bench, he's averaging just over 10 points per game, and he's been good off the bench here tonight as well, as that's a push from Mike Elliott in the backcourt on Darius Adams. Ron Patterson checks back in. Shane Hanlon will head to the bench. But again, it's a really three-headed attack, at least in the backcourt for Mambo's. Marquise Teague, he's got the ball. He'll pull up from the volleyball line. He's short. But Darius Adams, John Hart, key contributors as well. As here's a right-sided three-pointer. Donnell Hinton converts. And it's down to 13.
How about that from Elevate Indianapolis? Now look for Ron Patterson to really jumpstart the offense with some deep triples.
Driving, Walker, baseline, fouled. He was pushed by Mike Elliott.
So we'll see Mambo's reset with the side out. Huge opportunity to swing the momentum in favor of Elevate if they can get a stop.
Teague inside the arc, kicks it. John Hart left corner three. That's off. He's been uncharacteristically off from three-point range tonight. Rebounded by Carlisle and Elevate Indy. Here comes Turner from behind the volleyball line. Turner can't hit. Rebound Adams. Here comes Teague. He had it poked away from him. Great defense there by Hinton into the forecourt. Turner attacking with the left hand on the right side. He finishes, and the Mambo lead is down to 11. Got to think here, Andrew. Mambo is probably going to look towards Darius Adams. Adams and Mambo going to be called for an offensive foul. I think they're going to tag Adrian Gibson with some sort of illegal screen / push up there at the top of the key.
Well, regardless, it's an opportunity for Elevate to cut the deficit to single digits. It'll be Xavier Turner marshaling the basketball as he's really kicking into high gear here in the second half.
Xavier Turner, step back three off the front of the rim. Teague the rebound, just 6 points in the first 7+ minutes of the second half for Mambos, as Evan Loudon was pushed out of bounds. Mike Elliott going to be whistled for another foul. But how about that after the offensive outburst in that first half, Andrew? Just 6 points in the first 7.5 minutes and counting for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill in this second half. Here's Gibson kicking it. Teague underneath, John Hart going up. Count it, plus the foul.
Well, that valve has really been shut off from outside for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, and As a result, this might be Elevate's best opportunity to work their way back into the game, especially as that target score hangs in the balance. We're about 8 minutes away with the running clock from reaching that point of the game. But the potential three-point play opportunity here for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill is certainly going to make the hill a bit more steep.
Hart converts the three-point play. He's kind of flown under the radar tonight, but he's averaging 22 a game. He had 30 in the first game of the year for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. He is shooting north of 60% from three-point range on the season. He's guarding Patterson now. Patterson kicking. Here's Turner. Right side elbow, whipping a pass to Patterson in the far side corner, and he drills the three. A great feed from Turner, and a big-time shot from Patterson, and we're back to within 11. John Hart, that pass intercepted. Run out here, and that will just be an easy transition layup for Donnell Hinton, and we've got ourselves a single-digit ball game.
That's how quickly it can happen, especially here at the City League with such a high tempo.
Darius Adams, volleyball line three. He's still scoreless in this second half. Carlisle the rebound after the putback effort fell short. Here's Turner looking to cut into the deficit more. Pass into the corner, nearly intercepted by a combination of Adams and Hart. But 20 points in that first half for Darius Adams. 0 through the first 9+ minutes of the second half. Here's Turner with the left hand, soft off the back of the rim. It falls, and the lead for Mambos is down to 7. Here's Teague. Front of the basket, kicking. Gibson. Loudon now driving, kicking. John Hart left alone. He's going to drive back up top to Adams. He'll catch and shoot from the top of the key. That's off the left side. Here comes Hinton. Hinton left alone. Stops. Right wing three. It's good. Back to within 4 is Elevate Indy. Timeout Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. We've got ourselves a ball game, Andrew.
Well, what a 9 minutes and 50 seconds from Elevate Indianapolis. And despite all the success we've seen in transition and on the offensive side of the floor, it does kind of start with the defense. And it starts with, to me, well, first of all, not only Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill simply missing shot opportunities, but Elevate Indy has done a great job closing out. I feel like they've done a great job being more restrictive around the perimeter. And ultimately, the defense is really locked down and locked in. And here's where you see the depth of the City League, especially on the men's side, because Elevate Indy's 0-2. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill is presumably the best team in the league, possibly the second best, maybe slipping back to third if things go awry. And we go from the very top of the standings to the very bottom of the standings, and these two teams are competing fiercely. It's going to be a very fun 10 minutes and 10 seconds just about left to go, especially if Elevate Indy can keep things going. I want to see him retake the lead in the next few possessions. Don't let up now.
Adams driving right side, going behind his back. He lost his footing, and we'll get a tripping call, I believe, against Xavier Turner. He's going to be whistled for the foul. Turner is, so a side out here for Mambos. Right in front of their bench, it's Teague. Far side guarded by Elliott. Step back, three. Marquise Teague drills it. A much-needed three-pointer. Marquise Teague answers the call there for Mambos. Their lead is back to 7. Here comes Turner spinning and fouled. It's kind of an awkward spin move there from Turner. He didn't really use it to get around anybody, just to kind of further his way down the lane. Inbounds here from the far side of the floor for Elevate Indy. Hit and played it into Turner. Here's Patterson. Three-pointer, left side, he's fouled. That's Evan Loudon picking up the foul, and now 3 points are upcoming for Ron Patterson.
Goodness me, Zach. I thought that was going in for a 4-point play from Ron Patterson. A little bit of breathing room has been found by Marquise Teague for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, but that running clock is really burning away, and free throws like these, the first one goes for Patterson, are going to be critical as Elevate Indy looks to string together a few more possessions. You're not cut up yet, right? You're down 6, but you're just a flurry of three-pointers away from being completely out of the game again. So I'd love to see Elevate Indy go full throttle the rest of the way. They have 8 players. Shane Handlin is getting some decent rest on the bench. We'll see how close they can get moving forward.
2 with 3 at the line there for Patterson as Teague Crosses the timeline, right side, sidestep three off the front of the rim. He wanted a foul, he didn't get one. Offensive rebound. Mambo still looking to attack. John Hart lost it out of bounds. Turnover, Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. Andrew, this is a team that's not a stranger to playing tight games. Just last Thursday, it took a superhero-like performance for Darius Adams in the Elam ending, as that's a deep three for Xavier Turner, and it's a one-possession game. Adams looking to answer. His volleyball line three is good. Turner looking to go back at Darius Adams, far side of the floor. Dancing with it, kicking. Elliott, corner three, off. John Hart the rebound. About 3.5 minutes out from our Elam ending as Hart's fouled. That's going to be Hinton whistled for it. But back to what I was saying, Andrew, this is a team, and Mambo's not a stranger to playing tight games. They were down in that Elam ending against Press Play Gaming Lounge before Darius Adams played Xavier. Adams going to fire again from three. That one's short. Rebounded by Loudon. His putback effort off the mark. Gibson goes back up. He's blocked. Kick out. Teague inside the painted area, trying to knife his way to the basket. Was fouled in the process. He's got 2 shots upcoming here at the charity stripe.
And for a while, we were seeing the ball bounce in favor of Elevate, the whistles falling in favor of Elevate. And now Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill finding some wind in their sails, knocking down a couple threes. Marquise Teague hitting the first, and now having a few advantageous 50-50 plays down the stretch. And somehow in a blink, we have 6 minutes left to go in the final game of the night. We're about 2 minutes away from the Elam ending target score. My rule of thumb, Zach, typically is you want to be 2 possessions back from an opponent or in a better position than that. Elevate Indy's going to have some big-time buckets on the way.
John Hart chasing down that loose ball. Kicks it back to Teague. Driving, dumping off. Gibson left side. And back to 8 is the lead for Mambos. Turner, half court three off the right side of the rim. Good effort there by Elliott to keep the ball alive. Patterson volleyball line three, that's off. Adams behind the back. Hesitation, driving, spinning to his right, dumping it off. Gibson looking behind the back for Loudon. It finds the hands of Adams in the corner. He can't hit. Long rebound tapped to Hart. Back to Loudon. Right wing three is cash. Timeout, Elevate Indy. The lead for Mambos has ballooned back to double figures. It was a 1-possession game not too long ago. It's back to 11 here with 5:10 to play, which essentially means about a minute 10 away from our target score and our Elam ending. The offensive three-point shot, it's starting to come back slowly but surely here for Mambos.
And at this point, it's been on fire for the majority of the game, and logical reason would say that honestly this, in terms of game time, we'll probably have less than 5 minutes of it with just how quick the tempo has been. Those 9 points will likely be fulfilled very swiftly. Elevate Indianapolis got a big minute and 10 seconds on the way. Definitely need to string together a few stops, definitely need to string together a few buckets. They've had some deep threes from Xavier Turner and Roderick Patterson fall short. I think Ron Patterson, Zach, has just been a little bit underwhelming from three as somebody who definitely has confidence with the basketball in his hands throughout the season. And here's Turner.
Carlisle step back from the right side edge. That's off Adams the rebound. He's pushing it, dumping it off to Loudon. And that's 2 more on the board for Mambos. Adams has turned playmaker here in the second half. Turner dumping it off, looking for Hanlon, intercepted. 3-on-1 for Mambos. Adams going behind the back end. Teague couldn't chase it down. Has Darius Adams scored in the second half? I think he has the 3, and that's about it.
Yeah, that's a 40-point performance that we were on track for.
Patterson had it back tapped by Hart. Ball finds the hands of Turner. Left corner 3, that's off. Long rebound. Hinton, his 3 is good.
That's important. Now a 10-point deficit. You put the team maybe 19 points away, most likely 19 points away from victory when we get to that point.
I think Mambo is going to wait till this clock gets under 4 minutes, then take the timeout, which would force a target score to be put on the board. Loudon can't convert. Here comes Turner, looking for a Hanlon. Alley-oop to him, kick out. Patterson back to the middle of the floor. Carlisle couldn't finish the first go-around. Second time, he was successful. And there's that timeout from Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. It will give us a target score, Andrew, of 88. So the first to 88 will win this ball game. What's the recipe to success for both teams down the stretch here?
Well, hey, that's exactly what we were looking for from Elevate Indy. They've cut the deficit to 8. It was at 11 just earlier, and that's just marginally a couple possessions here and there. Making plays, getting stops, getting buckets. And so what you look at with Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, I can almost guarantee that what's in the minds of them right now is that they are 3 3-pointers away from victory. So if you're Elevate Indianapolis, obviously there's a motivation to contest shots and really put a hand up. But then if you overcompensate, if you overextend, then absolutely Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill is going to be able to get inside. So to me, for Elevate Indy, it's that transition defense. I want to see full court press defense. I want to see them really stunting the Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill offense before they can get across the timeline and get in position to take a feasible three.
Zone here from Elevate Indy. That will lead to a catch-and-shoot three that rattles home from Darius Adams. Just like that, 2 possessions away from winning and improving to 3-0. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, the win is within reach. Turner drives, can't finish. He was fouled, and we'll have 2 shots upcoming. Interesting look there out of the timeout. Elevate Indy going with that 2-3 zone. And what the zone gives up are those looks from 3, and Darius Adams made him pay. Just his second field goal of the second half, but he's got 26 on the night.
Yeah, that is something I definitely don't understand, and it is an unfortunate situation because, as I just mentioned, I think that transition defense and that backcourt defense is going to be the most critical, and obviously that was coming out of a timeout and inbounds. Mambo's was already set. But on the other side, Elevate Indy, they're going to have to fight and claw for every single bucket, every single point, every single possession. And on the other end, Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, in my mind, they've got to understand they're 2 triples away and that Elevate Indy should not have enough time to outpace 2 made threes. I'd love to see Mambo's keep throwing them up.
Teague will take a screen from Gibson. Now finds Gibson. Driving left side, looking for the dump off to Loudon. Gibson threw it out of bounds. That's a start. Got to string together a handful of stops here if you're Elevate Indy. Looking to avoid dropping to 0-3 on the season with their final game coming against NBA Math Hoop. So it won't get much easier for Elevate Indy to close the regular season for them. Patterson, sidestep 3, it rattles home. Here comes Elevate Indy back to within 6 after the Patterson triple. Darius Adams looking to play hero once again in the Elam ending. He steps into a volleyball line 3 off the right side, rebounded Turner. Forecourt, Carlisle streaking to the basket, saves it. He was running out of bounds. Here comes Teague, 3-on-2, and that's a foul. Effectively a take foul there from Hinton. It was 3-on-2 for Mambo's. I have seen an intentional foul called this summer in the City League, but that's not going to be one of them. It'll be a side out, it looks like. Check that. Do think they'll tag Hinton with and maybe not. Maybe a timeout was called. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Looks like Elevate Indy called a timeout. Trailing 82-76. The target score is 88. Ron Patterson just hit a 3. Xavier Turner has been key with the ball in his hands. But if you're Mambo's, is it as simple as get the ball into the hands of Darius Adams and let him make the play?
Yeah, I think absolutely any one of those 3, but certainly Darius Adams first and foremost. I mean, each of them has absolutely hit the threes in the important moments in this game time and time again. So, again, I mean, sure, Ron Patterson had the 3 there. They're only 6 points back. Theoretically, Elevate Indy's 4 possessions away from victory. So certainly there's a little bit more heat on the necks of Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. You can't just recklessly throw up threes until you find yourself winning. Obviously, we know what happened to Pinch Hit Consulting yesterday. But I think especially with these free throws, I believe, is this a 1-and-1?
Should be a 1-and-1, I believe.
So these will be critical as well as he makes the first. So regardless, we'll get a second free throw. This team will be 4 points away should this fall.
Which is still 2 possessions. Teague short on the second free throw anyway. Patterson the rebound. Patterson rumbling down the floor. He dumps it off to Carlisle, who throws it down with 2 hands. Got ourselves a 5-point ball game. 5 points separates not only the teams, but Mambo's from that target score. Adams around a screen. Free throw line, attacking the basket with the right hand on the left side. An acrobatic finish to pull his team within a possession of victory. Patterson, left side edge, blocked by Teague. Teague has it now. A 3 would win it for Mambo's. Teague elevates, fires, and wins it. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill, they're 3-0. An 88-78 victory for Mambo's over Elevate Indy, as Elevate Indianapolis drops to 0-3 on the season. Andrew, another great performance by Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. A little bit more well-rounded this go-around. It wasn't the 27 of Adams. He did have 26. Marquise Teague was great. John Hart chimed in, Adrian Gibson as well. A collective effort in another high-scoring affair for Mambo's, 88 this go-around.
And the motto of this game to me is that you just can't outpace a cheetah. And when Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill is scoring that quickly, that consistently, they're that effective from beyond the three-point line. I mean, again, we don't have the end of the game numbers quite yet, but this team was 50% from 3, just chucking up shots at a high volume, 68% from the field. Fantastic showing from Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill. They have clearly and convincingly defined that they are the consistently best team so far. We've seen NBA Matthews play 2 games. We've seen Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill play 3. Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill certainly more impressive. And on the other side, Elevate Indianapolis has to be the best 0-3 team I'm seeing at the City League, and certainly the best 0-3 team I've seen in a very long time.
Well, it was a fantastic night of hoops with you this evening, Andrew. A quadruple header here, live from the Bonner Fitness and Learning Center. We've got 7 more games on tap for you next week, 3 on Wednesday, 4 on Thursday. But our nightcap again, an 88-78 win for Mambo's Cheesesteak Grill over Elevate Indy. Alongside Andrew Garrison, I'm Zach Browning saying so long and thank you so much for tuning in this week. We'll catch you next week for more action here at the City League.